All right, time for the tomato planting. I think everybody's favorite vegetable of all time, or most all time. Most people like them. They like to grow them. Some can, some can't. They have difficulties. They want to know what's going, why they can't grow like it's shown. Tomatoes require three main things: food, water, and sunlight. When I say food, I mean nutrients. Magnesium and calcium are two of the biggest. You can buy tomato food in bags, but the calcium and magnesium are the two biggest things. Calcium is good for preventing bloom rot, which is the black rotten spot at the very end where the flower grows when the tomatoes start getting on the vine. Magnesium also, it helps with bloom rot, and it works in conjunction with the calcium as well. It provides nutrients to the plant. Water, biggest mistake people make are that they tend to overwater the plants. They think they're not getting enough. Tomatoes require a substantial amount of water, but not to the point of soaking them down and saturating them. Your key thing is the roots are your biggest concern when it comes to watering. You don't want to get your leaves wet. Leaves have a tendency to retain the water, and that will cause them to mildew, rot, fungus, whatever you want to call it. It'll be a detriment. So what you try to do is try to keep the water limited to the lower part of the plant around the dirt line, but you don't want to just gush water till it's standing in water. They make what's called drip hoses. These are specialized hoses with minute tiny holes in them that allow droplets of water. You can turn them on. It's like a water hose. You turn them on, and then the droplets come out and seep out into the soil at a slow rate of speed, enough for that it just allows the plant to saturate it or to absorb it without being saturated. Some of my little tricks are and I'll show you here, is fertilizing, or the nutrients, calcium and magnesium. Really simple. This is a 8-pound bag of Epsom salts. I picked it up at a big box store. About a couple bucks, $3 or $4. It's not very much. It's also used as a laxative, so it's one of those all-purpose things. But Epsom salts, if you look at the ingredient, magnesium sulfate, it says it here on the front too. You can get a lot of your supplement magnesium to buy this, and this will last you 2 or 3 growing seasons if you don't use a whole lot. The second thing I use for my calcium are these antacid tablets. As you see, it says Equate brand. It don't matter what you put on them, they're all going to contain calcium. You can get your Tums and Rolaids and all that stuff like that that's got stuff in it, but you're paying for the name. This is the cheap bottle, I think a couple bucks. One of these. You put 1 or 2 of these in the bottom of the hole before you put your tomato plant in, and that will allow the soil to absorb the calcium through into the soil, and then the tomatoes will in turn absorb the calcium into their root system. So I say that's the 2 biggest factors right there that help prevent bloom rot. And also the watering. You don't want to have brown spots or rotten spots when you start seeing brown spots on tomatoes. That's usually generally because they're overwatered. If you've underwatered, they'll start shriveling up, having wrinkles. So as I said, it's not a trick to do this, but you just got to have some patience and some little common sense. All right, from my earlier video, these are big boy tomatoes. I've had these for a few weeks. I've been keeping them watered. I know they look kind of poor now, but I'm hoping that they will pick up once I get them in the ground and get some stuff going on. This is where they need to be instead of being away, but I had to put them up because of the weather and the cold. So, all right. Not very hard to do. You just want to leave enough space. I've got 6, so I usually do 1.5 foot away from each edge, roughly. Mark my spot. 2 spots. as you can see, I've got 6 holes or 6 spots marked. You can think, well, that's quite a bit. That's a lot of room. Well, you're going to need a lot of room because these vines have a tendency to grow up and out, and because there are bushes, and bushes tend to become full. I'm going to stake my tomato plants this year rather than cage them like I have been in the past. My plants seem to have a tendency to grow very full, very heavy, and they manage to pull over a lot of the tomato cages. The cages are made with a real flimsy, thin aluminum wire, rolled wire, and they have a tendency to, if you don't get them down deep enough, or if the tomato grows too big, too heavy, too full, it'll pull them down. So this year I'm going to do stakes, and we'll see how those go. I'm going to tie the stake or the plants to the stakes, so hopefully it'll keep them upright and in a growing position and make it a lot easier. All right, let's get started. All right. So what I usually do is I just put the tomato in and see how far I got to go. Notice I've got deep enough. All right. Yeah, the holes look a little bit deeper than they need to be, but what I do is I put my garden soil at the base of the plant before I put the plant in. It gives a little bit more of a more nutrient-based soil rather than just the soil itself. I use Miracle-Gro. You can use whatever one you want to use. It's just basically all-purpose soil. I feel it gives a plant a really good base to start growing in. So all I do is put a little layer in the bottom. Okay. There's no science to how much you put in. I just usually give a little handful of magnesium, bath salts, whatever. That's not that much. Sprinkle that in the bottom. Two of these tablets on the bottom. Okay. So now, so what we gotta do is put that in there, put some more garden soil around it. We'll put the other soil in the layer at the top. All right, I think that's good enough. We'll just do that. Enough to cover that up around, make it nice and presentable. Get my tag. Even though I know what it is, I'll put my tag in there. I'm gonna save these for next year. So that's how you do tomatoes. I know everybody's not gonna sit there and watch me do 5 more of these plants. So this video's already been going long enough. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it now. I'll pick back up whenever I'm done, and we'll see where we go from there. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer anything I can or find it out. See you next time.